Texas.org. Cannot beat that drum enough because this website is so useful. It's user friendly. I love the fact that it allows you to zoom in on a specific area. If you know exactly where you want to go down to your neighborhood street, and it's color coded. So, you know, just like a red light, when you're driving, red light means stop. When you see that bright red line on drivetexas.org, that means something is in the way. Either it's water, it may be a downed tree, it just could be debris in the area.
Exactly.
But what we're trying to say is don't go that route whenever you see.
Turn around.
And speaking of roads, Interstate 10 still closed if you're trying to get to Houston. I've seen trucks backed all the way up 69 for this morning when I came into work. Still people trying to get over there.
Parked there all night.
Look at the story on our website about the barge that crashed into the I-10 bridge.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. You know, if you could get from here, get through 90, get through 73, get through I-10 at Winnie, we've got a barge hit a bridge in Houston,
right?
San Jacinto, yeah.
So at some point you're gonna get
it's
stopped.
closed up there too. They're working on looking at that. Now also, I actually noticed in the comments on our YouTube stream, people were talking about a closure in Louisiana. If you go to 511la.org, that's Louisiana's version of Drive Texas. And westbound I-10 appears to be closed at around Vinton, coming into Texas, and up on Highway 12 coming in. So that's causing problems too.
And that's the thing. We don't want you all to feel like we're not seeing your messages or that we're ignoring your messages, but just think if you have a specific route you're asking about, 9 times out of 10, there are 100 other people who are asking about 100 other different routes. And we're just working with some limited resources right now if we're being very transparent. And so it's tough for us to be able to route everyone's drive. So that's why we want to give you the tool that we would be using, because, you know, if we did have the staff to answer every single question, literally we would be calling up this website ourselves, taking a look at the conditions, and then giving you that information. So all we're doing here is cutting out the middleman and letting you know that you can use this website and figure out how to get around town as we assess what's happened post Imelda.
Exactly, and it's right here.
Right there at the palm of your finger. Go ahead, I'm gonna let you toot your horn with this app because Scott loves his new baby, the new 12 News app.
Aren't you happy about it?
I'm happy about it. What are some of the cool features?
Oh, this app is all about swiping. You just swipe left and you're at weather. Swipe left again and you're at videos. But we've also got a menu on the bottom. When you first hop onto it, down at the bottom, tap weather or tap watch, tap. And there.
I love the watch button at the bottom. Anytime we're on air, literally that takes you straight to whatever is broadcasted.
Live, it'll pop up at the top.
It pops up right on your screen. And I was telling Scott, my grandmother loves that option as well. He even got on the phone with her and got
to help her set it up.
Got the stamp of approval, Jeff, from Beaumont.
Oh, well, that's good, yeah.
A lot of the other reporters' parents are watching them on the app.
Good stuff.
My mother watches on the app.
You know, just continue to reiterate the importance of digital in a situation like this. I think this situation specifically with our station flooding, we were able to see firsthand how important it is to not just rely on one form of communication.
No, exactly. We had to punt. You know, now we're here. It's a little different. And, you know, we've had some technical difficulties here and there. And sometimes the commenters on Facebook, they're a little rough on us.
Yeah.
We read those too. We see them. But, you know, we're just trying to do our best and let you guys know what's going on.
Jeff, another thing about social and digital that we want to point out, the viral stories that happened. Did you happen to see the kids jumping off the bridge at Lamar?
I did see that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What? So talk to me about that. What are your thoughts about that?
Well,
it literally went viral. I saw it on the national news's Twitter pages and people were like going crazy.
My first thought was, you're jumping into that mixture of whatever it is. It looked fun, But still, you know what's in that flood water?
No, Jeff, what's in that?
What's in that flood water? Tell us, Jeff.
We're talking about chemicals and gasoline and who knows what else is in that.
That's the part I'm worried about. The who knows what else. I posted it on my Facebook. I said I'm calling all y'all mamas. Get out of that water
What
right
if there was
now.
a car under there and jumped onto it?
Yeah, so it looks fun, and I know in college you want to be risky and do those types of things, but y'all, no, consider that like your get out of jail free one. Like, don't do that again. That was tough. But what I also enjoyed, we got a lot of information via Twitter from our reporters. They worked really hard yesterday out in the field. Some unsung heroes. Can I pat them on the back a little bit? Do y'all mind?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. So just a few little shout outs. We had Kelsey Johnson, who jumps on a boat with her dad while he was assisting folks with some rescues. So she was able to do that. We had Mackenzie, who was in the Beaumont Civic Center.
She
was rolling around giving people supplies, and
Yeah, I
instead
saw
of
her in
doing
the back of
interviews.
Kelsey's Facebook Live.
Yeah,
Like, what
she
was
was out
Mackenzie
there
doing?
making sure people had what they needed as opposed to trying to ask questions. She just wanted to jump into action, and I just thought that was really thoughtful of her. Also, Jordan and Tyler had a video that lots and lots of folks have been sharing across Twitter of them helping stranded motorists out of their
remember
stalled
seeing that the
vehicles
night it
in
happened.
some
Yep.
high water. So, these reporters, they are really going above and beyond to make sure our community comes out of this on the right side. And just showing that they care. And I think it's important that not only 12 News, not only the reporters, but Southeast Texas as a whole, we take on that vibe and that sentiment just to be there for one another, to lean on one another, because it's that spirit of being resilient that's going to help us get through this.
Well, we're part of this community.
Absolutely.
I mean, the whole We Are 12 News, you are 12 News. It's all of us. Some of us have lived here a long time. I've worked in media here since
we're blowing off NBC.
91 or so. So we've got a vested interest in keeping our community safe.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, good news is we are going to have a little break. Real quick, just tell folks what to expect out of the weather conditions.
Yeah, there's still
today.
going to be some scattered showers today, some downpours here and there. But after that, things are really going to start to dry out, especially starting tomorrow and through next week. Just some isolated showers. But today, definitely not going to be seeing the rainfall that we did the last couple of days. I think officially out at the airport 2 days ago, we had about
Good morning, Southeast Texas meteorologist Blake Matthews here live from our KHOU studios in Houston. Continuing to track some now heavy showers pushing in off the Gulf of Mexico. So those of you out in the Port Arthur area just to the west of Sabine Pass, heads up, very heavy rain pushing back into that region. But fear not, this is moving through pretty quickly, shouldn't last too long, and we're not expecting much in the way of any flooding out of this, although we could see a few streets pond in the usual suspect spots. Now this is headed up towards the Beaumont area where we are seeing a few scattered showers there currently. And we're going to keep those rain chances in the forecast throughout the day today. There's a lot more moisture out here across the northern Gulf that continues to stream into Southeast Texas. We'll continue to watch that throughout the day. So rain chances increasing heading into the afternoon, 40% chance heading into the noon hour, 85 for that high with a 50% chance of showers and storms heading into 4 o'clock. We'll have another check of your weather coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Blake. And we've got some closures to tell you about. So many ISDs, so many school districts in the area that are closed. We've got that at the bottom of your screen. And we've got the latest information here. Beaumont ISD, Port Arthur ISD, Little Cypress, Mauriceville, Nederland, Port Neches, Groves, Vidor, Hampshire, Fannett, Orange, Lumberton, Silsbee ISDs all closed today.
And rescue operations are going to resume. Beaumont police will start those up, scheduled in just about 5 minutes now, 7:30 a.m. officially. Jefferson County offices closed today, and we are urging people to check drivetexas.org before you hit the roads today. Lots of closures up and down I-10 and surrounding roads. Also a lot of street flooding, as you can imagine. The overnight curfew has been lifted in Winnie. That was just about half an hour ago. Overnight curfew in Vidor lifted about an hour and a half ago. Those areas, Vidor especially, so hard hit. folks just getting back into their homes very recently after Harvey, and now many of them taking on water yesterday because of Imelda. Taking a look at the radar now, we've got some light rain going on.
Absolutely, and as we saw on that map, there's not an easy way to get from Beaumont to Houston today. So many closures there involving I-10, and some more rescues are about to begin, as we said. But on top of all that, we have a barge that hit I-10 here closer to Houston. So I-10 is going to continue to be an issue all day long. We do have some good news, though. US 90 in Jefferson County is now open, but you got to proceed with caution. That's according to the text dot there in Beaumont.
Yeah, our helicopter's heading up to get a picture of those barges that have hit I-10 at the San Jacinto River. That no word yet on when that might reopen, but of course that's a dangerous situation for the structure of the interstate there over the San Jacinto River. That's going to be just east of Lynchburg. Lots of closures going on, at least one that Ron just noted opening back up US 90, so that's a little bit of good news. Keep it tuned right here as we continue to monitor events following the flooding of Imelda throughout this day. Be careful out there, folks. Take care.
Oh, you're looking at me to talk.
Yes.
Oh, well, I didn't know it was my turn. But what Jeff said is great. I mean, it's going to be, it's time to move forward. And it's just it's going to be tough because I mean, it's 2 years ago. All of these people who probably got houses flooded today are still fixing their house, or they just finished from Harvey. And that's what gets me, and that's what got me after we evacuated the next day when I finally got to sleep coming back in. It was just a little depressing thinking about that. But I know we'll come back because we always do.
I think what's also important to note, a lot of school districts have closed for today as well.
Almost all
So yeah, it is a very extensive list. So if you're still, wondering, it's about that time, where school will be letting in. If you have any questions, 12newsnow.com is just an amazing resource. It's laid out for you. What's that story under? School closures?
School closures, easy to find. There's literally, I think, Jasper, Chester, maybe Legacy are the only ones we haven't been able to find out from. We're waiting and watching. In fact, when I get done here, I need to go.
I'm looking at Jasper ISD's Twitter right now.
Have they said anything yet?
They still haven't said anything. The last tweet was from 16 hours ago that said they were going to update on current conditions. I guess my take on it all, if you're a parent, you got to use your discretion. You got to kind of look at the elements and look at the current conditions and see how you feel and do what's best for you and your family. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, and as I mentioned, roadways this morning are not too bad. If you're trying to get to work, you didn't go to work yesterday, but you're going to work today, be careful of those stalled cars. There are still quite a few of them out on the roadways, and they're going to be a backup, people trying to get around those. Be very patient today if you're trying to get around locally here, or where you're in areas where you're seeing some stalled cars. It's just going to be a mess at times, so just be very patient and give yourself maybe a little extra time to get where you're going this morning.
And you'll want to watch. I'm hearing a lot of the digital people, they're messaging back and forth. The KHOU's Chopper is going to be up soon, and we're probably going to be able to live stream that. So you'll want to watch on our digital and watch for that.
Gives us a bird's eye view of what is happening, or has happened, I should say, with Imelda, what we're looking at. And like I said, switch to recovery and just cleaning up and getting back to whatever that new normal looks like. Because for folks who are getting a second round in 2 years, this is going to be rough.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you've got to be strong and you've got to come back and say, you know what, I'm going to move forward. I got to get through this, and I did it before. I'm going to do it again. And a lot of folks are just sitting there this morning saying, I just did this. I just went through this. Now I've got to do it again. It's tough. It's very tough.
I'm looking at Twitter right now. Our reporter Paris Kane about 3 minutes ago says pond and lake management came from College Station to come and help out in Southeast Texas. One says he rescued more than 50 people yesterday. The mud and airboats have about 2,000 homes on their list today. So that just kind of gives you guys some perspective. Even if it's not a high water rescue per se, people are still being affected.
Yeah, you still have to they still might not have a way to get out. Their house was flooded and their car was flooded. So here they sit where the house, maybe the water's not there anymore, but still they can't live there, and they need somebody to come help and get them out. So yeah, not necessarily a high water rescue, but a rescue kind of nevertheless.
Tyler Segerman also tweeted not too long ago. He was out and about on the roads and says, for those of you trying to head west along I-10, the interstate remains closed between Beaumont and Winnie. A lot of people were inboxing us asking about that specific area, Beaumont to Winnie. I-10 at this point it's no way around it. You know, I-10 is shut down. So
if you want to try to get to Houston, you might have to go all the way up towards Woodville, cut over 190, get all the way over into Livingston, and then kind of go down that way if you wanted to maybe head down towards Houston. But it's a long drive. That's a long way around. But that's about what you have to do.
If you really like sitting in your car, you know, get a podcast and listen. Oh, get our podcast, the 409
Shameless
Sports
plug.
X's and O's podcast. You could listen to that. We've got 6 episodes so far. We recorded one
shameless
Wednesday
plug.
night. The coach from Lumberton came
Was he
in.
talking about the
It
weather?
was raining. I didn't get to really listen to it because I was a little busy dealing with
Preparing for
preparing
Imelda.
and dealing with this stuff. But it was raining but he made it in and they recorded the podcast.
Oh my goodness. So just a good point to continue to reiterate, like we said, I-10, it is a no-go, folks. It is a no-go. So let's kind of try and comb social media, see what we can find, any latest information. Want to continue sharing that shelter information. Mayor Becky Ames, it says the Civic Center, it's only going to be used for a need-be basis. If you need shelter, she's redirecting those folks to the Central High School gym. That area has been unaffected by the weather. Central High School's gym. Also, if you want to drop off donations, don't come to Central High School's gym or to the Civic Center. They don't want you to go directly to those locations. They want you to go to First United Methodist Church on Calder. So we're talking things like toiletries, toothbrushes, toothpaste, soap, socks, things that people need in their day-to-day dealings. We're also talking clothes because the mayor says a lot of those folks just came with what they had on their backs. And even if you weren't affected this time around, you may know someone who's been affected before, and you know what that feels like to be in survival mode. You're not thinking about packing a bag. You're thinking about getting out.
Just getting out. And for sure, help them out. Bring some donations, but bring it to the right location. They can sort it out and get it to those people who need it in a timely and kind of organized fashion instead of just showing up and say, here's a bunch of stuff.
Also, think about things like blankets and pillows, those things we take for granted, just a little bit of comfort to make people feel okay, warm, dry, and safe, because they're experiencing something that not only is life-changing, but it can be traumatic, it can be scary. These are not just adults, they're children, who are with their parents and grandparents, and so whatever we can do to make them comfortable, to assist, I think it would just be
matter of fact, last night when I was driving down to Calder, I saw military transport had a bunch of folks in the back that they were taken somewhere, probably to the shelter, and there was probably a good 6 or 7 children in there. So maybe think about that. Maybe a little stuffed animal or something like that to kind of
not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. We were also talking a little earlier about some of the hardest hit areas. Jeff, let's talk a little more about that. You're saying China, Nome, Sour Lake, Winnie really saw a lot of the rain yesterday.
There's some of the heaviest rainfall, and there was one rain gauge down between just north of Winnie that was showing upwards of 40 inches of rain over the last few days. Most areas got 25 to 35 inches of rainfall, according to the National Weather Service. I think officially out of Jack Brooks, they had close to maybe 25 to 30 inches of rain down there. So a ton of rain. The heaviest has really been southern Hardin County, and as you get into the northwestern sections of Jefferson County, that's where we kind of saw the bullseye of the heaviest rainfall, and that's where you're seeing a lot of your homes that got flooded, and we're still waiting